Cabrini is the latest venture from the studio and director that brought you Sound of Freedom. And I did my review of Sound of Freedom about how it's just not a good movie. I didn't even get into all of the problems with how that guy lied about a bunch of his stuff, and now he's been outed as like a serial sexual harasser and all this stuff. All of that aside, Angel Studios has carved out a niche as doing like these big like culture war faith-based films. They have a TV show called The Chosen about Jesus and his disciples, and they're doing quite well at the box office because they have this pay it forward system where they can have people buy movie tickets, and by buy movie tickets I mean they go onto a website and they donate a bunch of money that goes into the pool, and then somebody else can go to the website and say, hey, I want to pay it forward ticket. And I think Sound of Freedom ended up making more from that pay it forward site than movie tickets were actually sold. Like, I think that movie made about $500 million just through the pay it forward model, and it didn't make $500 million at the box office. So Cabrini is being marketed similarly. In fact, I used one of those pay it forward tickets to go see it, and I could tell immediately that it was a very cynically done movie because like the poster said releasing on International Women's Day, and it's about a nun who started a mission in New York to help out Italian immigrants, but it was like the world was too small for what she wanted to do. And like the film, it's very amateurishly made. I think the director thinks the height of cinematography is to center frame the main character in silhouette in front of like a doorway. Like there's very many shots where she's just standing there silhouetted with like, light pouring through an open window or a big door or arch or something like that. He keeps doing that over and over and over again, and I'm just like, okay, we get it. You like that shot, but like, what's it telling? What are you trying to convey? And the film just kind of treats her as like the way that like, I don't know, like she never really seems to actually have like a genuine struggle, especially because she's got tuberculosis or something like that. She like had she almost drowned when she was younger, and it like gave her like a lifetime of breathing issues, and that never really shows in the film. Like she's doing all this work to build up the mission and get orphans taken care of and stuff like that, and they only really ever bring up her medical issues like once or twice when they need to have a dramatic moment where like she collapses or something like that, but for the most part she never actually seems to struggle with it at all. And that's kind of like a repeating thing, is that anytime she wants to do something, she just kind of does it, and it doesn't seem like there's much struggle with her doing it. It's like kind of the way that like in Parks and Rec early on, you would see Leslie Knope be like ridiculously competent at her job to the point where it's like, how did you find time to do all of these binders and everything like that? But it's all like off screen. It's just like, oh no, she's just good at her job, but we don't want to focus on that because that's not the important part of the story. But for this film, like the struggle is kind of the important part of the story, and she doesn't really seem to have it. Side Ethel says, Holy Mary Sue. Well, yeah, I mean, like, she's also kind of like, she's got a repeated thing where she basically is like nun-Karening her way to the top. Like she has had her mission proposal rejected so many times, she actually gets invited to the Vatican specifically so that they can tell her, no, we're denying your mission in person. Maybe now you'll stop sending us letters. And when that happens, she's just like, well, I want to talk to the Pope. And she manages to Karen her way into talking to the Pope, where she gets her mission approved. But then like she basically keeps trying to have a meeting with the mayor of New York City, who's played by John Lithgow, and that she eventually gets that, but like, after many times of being like, I want to speak to your manager. The film, I think, could have been mostly forgettable and kind of, I would say, just bland and inoffensive for the most part, except for one scene that was so heinous that I have to insist nobody see this movie. There's a scene where like the film does a lot to show the struggle of Italian immigrants at that time. It very much hammers home how they are treated. Basically, everyone treats them as like vermin. There's a repeated line that even the rats have it better than the Italians. And she has an idea that she's gonna have a hospital built, and she needs financing for it. And part of that financing is she decides to contact like second generation immigrants who are business leaders to get them on the board of the hospital. And so because of that, she like looks to like the Irish community and the Jewish community and a couple other immigrant communities. And in that scene where she's talking to all these business leaders, she just throws their slurs at them. Like literally, she just is saying all of the slurs for all of these groups of people. And she talks about how it's like, you know, when your parents came here, they were shouted out and heard that word loudly, but now you only hear it in whispers. But for us, we hear all the Italian slurs loud and clear. And included in those slurs is the K slur. And the implication of that scene being is that we Italians have it worse than you Jews. The anti-Semitism is going down. You guys are doing better now. And this film is set prior to the Holocaust, and it has a Catholic nun saying that word, and it's a Catholic director making this movie. The Catholic Church is basically the originator for like most of the anti-Semitism seen in the world. So they don't get to invoke the K slur. They don't get to do that to try and win sympathy for the Italian immigrants. That's not something that a Catholic director making a film about a Catholic nun gets to do. Luna Rose says the Catholic Church blamed the Jews for the death of Christ. Well, not since Vatican II. But this film takes place before Vatican II. So, yeah, no, like, that scene alone was just like, you thought you did something. You thought you were having a big moment where you were really selling that, you know, bigotry is bad, but you did it by using a slur you had no right to use. So it had me very furious. And because of that, no, I can't recommend you watch this movie. I can't recommend you watch anything from Angel Studios, even though I have seen The Chosen, the TV show, and I actually think it's pretty well done. I can't in good conscience recommend this company that is putting out stuff that like Sound of Freedom or like this, where it's just, I don't know, like it feels insidious. For this film to be downplaying how bad anti-Semitism was in an era leading up to the Holocaust. Yeah, no, like, oh god, that movie's horrible. Don't see it. If you do see it, use one of the pay it forward tickets so that you're not actually giving them more money. You're just taking the money that they've already got. But no, this movie was infuriating. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patrons Ryan D and James Knight, and my Anemone Friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.